T.M. Smith says, how about the lie that guns kill people and spoons make people fat? We did a trifecta not long ago on an ad that's got about 4 million views, a campaign video on YouTube, where they set up a fake gun store in New York City. And as people came in to buy guns, it turns out the gun store wasn't real, the guy selling guns wasn't real, and the people weren't real either. They were a pre-selected group of people. None of it was real. Which goes to my point, right? If you have to invent the evidence, you don't have any evidence. And basically what they did was they say, here, you want to buy this pistol? The guy pulls out like a 45 Navy Colt revolver and says, this is a 22 caliber revolver. That's how bad this is. But he basically says, this was the actual gun used to kill a 2-year-old child. It was picked up by his 4-year-old brother and shot the kid dead. This actual gun. And people, oh, this gun really? Well, there's so much to say about this. First of all, it's not the real gun. Secondly, let's say that it is the real gun. Is it the gun? Did the gun do it? Did the gun just leap up off the table and shout, get down? Get down, you MFs. Is that what the gun did? And then did the gun just start opening fire on the room and the 2-year-old child was killed? No, the gun didn't have anything to do with it. The gun's an inert object, it's a piece of steel, like a toaster. The toaster didn't kill anybody either. If somebody bashes somebody's head in with a toaster or a hammer, which happens more often than people are killed with assault rifles, or a baseball bat, it's not the bat's fault, it's not the toaster's fault, it's not the hammer's fault, and it's not the gun's fault. They didn't, by the way, say this was the gun that was used to protect a 97-year-old school teacher from being raped by 3 armed assailants who had murdered 4 women in the past. You didn't get to see any of those guns either. But the whole thing about this is really, because even if you did put the good side of guns in there, it's as irrelevant as the bad side of guns. This is the gun that saved the life of this pregnant school teacher. Who cares? The gun didn't have anything to do with it. The gun is an inert piece of object. I've made this joke 3 times. I just love it so much. It's like, well, I'm in favor of if a gun, if this is in fact the actual gun that shot an innocent person, then that gun has to be destroyed, because once a gun has tasted man flesh, then there's no telling what it'll do. It's just like a bear, and the bear has to be put down, because once the bear has tasted human flesh, it's just going to eat people from now on. Once that gun's got the sweet, sweet taste of human blood on it, then that gun's going to have to be destroyed. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. But see, statistics are not their friends. We have statistics about, I did number 1 with the bullets, one of my favorite videos in the last 5 years. And basically it looked at what the murder rate is in cities where there's at least talk about gun control versus what it is in Plano, Texas, where there are more guns than anywhere else on the face of the earth. And the murder rate in Detroit's 53 per 100,000. The murder rate in Plano is less than half, 0.4 per 100,000. The more armed you are, the lower the murder rate is. And it's proven again and again and again. Now, I made a mistake because when I was arguing this just a few days ago, and a guy named John Lott, I think, of Gun Rights Advocate, I think his name was John Lott, did an interview with him, corrected me, and I won't make this mistake again. I was talking with this British woman, and she was saying, well, guns are just horrible. Your murder rate here says, yeah, well, the murder rate is getting closer in Britain than it is in America. It's nothing like America's murder rate. And he's right. What John said was, look, Britain banned guns after a shooting in Scotland, I want to say. And so the question is Britain's murder rate approaching America's? No. But what John pointed out is, yes, Britain has banned guns, and yes, Britain has a low murder rate today. But what was the murder rate before they banned guns? It was much lower. Banning the guns significantly raised the murder and violent crime rate. And it's not a surprise, because when you inhibit predators, you get fewer predators. When you don't inhibit predators, you get more predators, and they get more successful. So this one is just pretty simple, really. You just simply look at the statistics. And it's not hard to figure out, It's not hard to figure out. When people tear up neighborhoods like Baltimore, or when they tear up neighborhoods like, the verdict in the Rodney King shooting was handed in by a jury in Simi Valley, which is a fairly wealthy, not super wealthy, but fairly wealthy, quite conservative neighborhood some distance away from South Central. When they rioted in South Central, they burned down local stores, but they didn't burn down the stores that had Korean guys with rifles on the roof, because if they had, they would have been killed. So what does that tell you? Why did the black rioters, in regard to the Rodney King thing, not go and burn down Simi Valley, where the people that passed down the verdict were? They didn't do it because they know if they'd gone into Simi Valley, they would have been shot. They would have been killed. Why is it that South Philadelphia is such an incredibly crime-ridden neighborhood when all you have to do is just get in a truck or a car, drive half an hour out the blue route at nighttime, and start robbing the incredibly wealthy houses in Valley Forge? Why don't they go out and rob Valley Forge? That's where the money is. That's where the TVs are. That's where all the good stuff is. Why don't they go out and rob the neighborhoods in Valley Forge? They don't do it because if they went into the Valley Forge neighborhoods and robbed some of those houses, they're going to get shot and killed because they're armed and they're ready to protect themselves. Criminals are not stupid. You can't be a predator and be absolutely stupid and succeed. You know, there are old pirates and bold pirates, but there are no old bold pirates, and predators are the same way. They can't take risks like this because they can't survive. That's why predators pick on the weak. Animal predators and human predators. If a guy's walking down the street and he sees me walking down the street, and on the other side, 2 blocks away, is an 80-pound, 70-year-old woman, and he wants some money, he's not going to give me any trouble. The only way a mugger or a predator or a stick-up artist is going to come after me is if he's very, very desperate, meaning I'm the only target around there. Because I'm 6'1" and I'm 175 pounds, and there's a chance I could hurt this guy. Even if he's got a gun, there's a chance I could hurt him. He doesn't want that. He wants somebody who's going to give him what he wants and run away. He wants a weak, sick, old victim. And when you arm somebody, they're not so easy to kill or steal from. And it's not a giant mystery. It's not like we can't figure it out. It's simple. So the statistics are there. It's not so hard. I want to get them all done tonight, and we are now, what are we, about an hour 51 in? No, we're an hour 30 into the recording. We still got some time. So we'll get them all done tonight.